Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Silly and Understars. Sorry if you can hear the cat in the background. I have no control over him. Good morning, Desert Fox. Thank you for your flawless contributions to chat. Hopefully the cat whining and begging for attention isn't too audible, but he unfortunately wants attention that I cannot give him right now, so sucks to be him. So last time we played indie games, primarily a lot of to be or not to be, but a variety of others as well. And today we are back on that modded Stardew grind. Last time we were right before the Egg Festival, so we'll be seeing how that goes. As usual, we're playing it low and slow, if you will. We're really sous videing this thing. Let's get into the game. Just to make sure that we're actually loaded in someday, considering how long load times take. There's a lot of joy in having all of the things that I have brought into the game, but there's definitely a lot more for the game to do. Alright, here we are in Stardew Valley. This game is such a lovely experience. And wait. Alright, that seems to have fixed it. I don't know why it seems to start out without controller working, but I'm glad that it's not 100% stubborn, just 90%. I hope you all have been having a lovely day. It is way, way too hot here, but I've been coping, been living through it, doing my best. And, just having some ice cold drinks, taking time to sit down in front of a fan, avoiding the sun at all costs. Really, in my opinion, the sun, which is of course a giant laser in outer space, is aimed directly at me and is a personal affront by God against me. So, I prefer to avoid being out in the sun. It's not my friend. It's very much a quiet Wednesday for me. I wasn't able to jump into some of my usual Wednesday things due to a bit of an unfortunate sore throat, so I've just been hanging out at home, waiting for it to be stream time. It's always good when it's stream time. Ooh, got mail. Dear Celine, Mom and I hope you are happy in the valley. Are you excited for today's festival? I remember when we were painting eggs together when you were younger. Festivals are so much fun. Love, Dad. Aww. Ooh, more letters. Dear Celine, have you settled into your new life yet? I can't believe you're all grown up now. Time sure flies. Now that you're gone, I have all this extra money laying around, so I included a little gift. Love, Dad. 500 gold. Dad, are you sure you don't need that for retirement? Or, like, golf? What do dads do? I mean, I know what my dad does. But there's golf. There is golf. So, is he spending his golf budget on me? Ooh, is that full grown? Is that fully grown kale? Do I have fully grown kale on my very own farmland? I think I must. So we're early in the week yet, but we're already quite a bit in there. How have you all been doing? How have you all been feeling? I like to try and keep this a pretty politics light zone, but there have been some pretty big things in politics this week. Why do I have kale? Didn't I need it for the community center? Yes, I did. I don't know why it's not lighting up then. Kale. I normally don't like to talk about political things, but there have been some flavors of There's an invisible puddle there. Interesting. That's a bit of a bug. So I don't want to work today. Martin, it's a festival. You don't have to. Can I help you? Martin, my guy. Just don't then. Got sloshy sand and very still water. You can see a bit of a mismatch in the effects and the textures there. I don't believe the festival starts until 9, so we're just killing time. Which is really unfortunate because time has always been a good friend of mine. The egg festival has begun. You and me both. I don't think I'm excited, but I'm definitely anticipating a very interesting November. Which makes me really, really glad that my birthday is in August and not November. Our hens have been working overtime to prepare for this festival. Look at his shirt! It's covered in chickens! He's got a chicken shirt! They deserve the best tonight. Bowls full of sweet yellow corn. He's wearing chickens! It's perfect. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Is there any more food? Everyone's enjoying the food. I've been cooking for days to get everything ready. Fried eggs, boiled eggs, poached eggs, deviled eggs, scrambled eggs, chocolate eggs. You name it. I'm not sure I want to name it. Thanks. Yeah, Pam, there are children! Put something nice into the punch. Shh, that's just between me and you, kid. No, I am reporting you to the adults. To the authorities. Spring is a busy time of year, so it's nice to have a day off to catch up with friends. We've always loved the egg hunt ever since she was a tiny girl. Aww. And with my bad leg, I never miss a town festival. It's definitely have a place in the well-balanced diet. I should take off my doctor's hat for the time being. Yeah, no. My, what a beautiful day for a festival. You participating in the egg hunt, Celine? Happy Egg Fest, Celine. I hope you could enjoy yourself with some nice treats. I'd prefer if there were birds inside those eggs, of course. Gee, that's infanticide! The move is being around large crowds of people. Hey, Celine, can I have an egg, pretty please? I don't want it. You little piece of shit. I love cats. I love cats very much. I always look forward to these gatherings. It makes the valley feel like a real community. Does the egg hunt start? I'm so excited. Children? Speak to me. I hope I can find some eggs before Vincent takes them all. Can I speak to Vincent? Because I don't think I have yet. Vincent, please. Vincent. Vincent! Small boy! Speak to me! I think the small boy is ignoring me. The children have been looking forward to this festival for weeks. Yeah, I don't think Vincent wants to talk to me. Vincent, please. Moo. Hello, Mr. Ginger. You know a hen lays around 350 eggs in her lifetime? Wow. Hi, Celine. Will you be participating in the egg hunt today? Good luck. I believe in you. Hello, Eloise. Celine loves birds, but she's never been particularly interested in the egg hunt. I'm not really sure why. Hopefully we'll meet some people we haven't had the chance to yet. Finally. Here. Sniff. By those. Allergies. You and me both, buddy. Sucks to suck, and we both suck. Looking for eggs is like going on a treasure hunt. Okay. Used to do a rotten egg toss. Mary Lou was putting into that pretty quick. I can't say I blame him, but I blame him. I definitely blame him. I'm wearing my best slacks and dress shirt today. That is a sweater. You're fucking boring, man. This festival is alright, but I'm really looking forward to is the flower dance. Try to eat at least 3 eggs every day. Okay, Gaston. Need that protein for my legs. Okay. So lovely to watch the children having such fun, and the adults too. Sometimes I'll hide an egg too well and no one finds it. Until summer rolls around. Then the hot air starts to bring out the rotten smell. Willie? Ew. Pick up your eggs, man. Sure, these festivals ain't so bad. It tastes even better if Pierre and Louis used my crops. Salty fucker. That's what everyone's so happy about. Humph. Eggs. Why eggs? I don't know, man. It's just because this festival has been a tradition for as long as I can remember. Tradition connects us with both the past and the future. It's comforting. Aww. Welcome to the Egg Festival. Compliments of my wonderful brood of hens. Eggs. What a strange thing to eat. Okay, Demetrius. Maybe people like things sometimes, man. Maybe you're strange. Been hanging out. Oh, there's an entire area up here. I was about to start the festival. I am the bunny queen. Set up some fake egg stink bombs where I know Abigail likes to search. Gotta support my boy Kaki. My fault Louie happened to find one. Oops. Someone is going to miss an egg and then it's going to stink up this whole melon farming valley. Ezekiel, you could say motherfucking. Because I'm not farming any melons. Melons are a summer crop. You tried the Loco Moco? It's a traditional dish from my home. With white rice smothered in hamburger meat, a lightly fried egg, and homemade gravy. It's Kiahi's favorite way to eat his morning eggs. As long as there's eggs in it, it's allowed. I love the versatility of eggs. Look at this old fella. I do keep in mind to avoid the yolk, though. To watch your cholesterol when you get to be my age. I mean, I guess, but also, like, don't you want to take some joy in your life? Some cholesterol-filled joy? Are you joining the hunt this year? I'm sorry I missed... So, good luck. I'm sorry I missed your first line, Lola. These deviled eggs get better every year. I love a good deviled egg. What's my husband been telling you? I hope they're good things about me. Okay, that's a little weird. Shanice is so beautiful, isn't she? I'm sorry, I just can't help myself. Yeah, I could go for an egg. A good, maybe a nice, like, lightly boiled one. You know, like soft boiled, really soft. Eggs make Bert gassy. He doesn't slow down, he's sleeping on the couch. Thanks, Olga, I wanted to know that. Feel giddy inside. I'm excited for the main event later on. I've already spotted some hidden eggs while we're waiting. Listen, that's cheating. Ooh, eggs. Kiahi and Trini's egg kitchen. Kiahi and I are running an egg restaurant. It's really hard to say. It's all egg. Eggs. Yeah, Lorenzo has a thing and a half for his wife. Good for him. Want an egg? Coming right up. Hey, do you think you can cover me for me while I scout where they hid the eggs for the game later? Come on, me. No, child. I cannot, unfortunately. You noticed how they don't seem to put an age limit on the egg hunt? It's most appealing for the children, but no one has an issue with young adults like Abigail joining. Do you have a problem with that? Or are we just commenting? I saw Kiahi bringing a small box of eggs earlier, but this box in particular had "not for cooking" written on it. I'm worried. Okay, now I am. Aww. I wasn't able to get any egg tart. It was too late. I'm sure they'll make you more, buddy. I'm sure they'll make you more. The spread Gus and Pika made looks scrumptious. Hope I can join them next year. It'd be a great honor. Aww. Ugh. I should be at the research facility, working on something more useful than this. Well, no one's forcing you to attend. Go do your boring-ass research then. Leave the fun for the rest of us, lady. Doesn't get much better than this. Bright sun, cool breeze, and some good deviled eggs. Your wife says, you stink when you eat eggs. So, that's that. There's that. So what do you think of my dress? Looks chic, doesn't it? Yeah, not really. This is so sweet. Showed up at our house bright and early to get ready for the festival with me. It was a lot of fun. Sounds like it. Well, you look smug. I hear some people in the city use applesauce as an egg substitute. Guess it's harder to get fresh eggs out there. Okay. Thanks. Keep warning Lenny and Lewis, but they never listened. What? What do you want? Stop eavesdropping. Until you tell me what you're warning them about. It's just eggs. It's just eggs. You know, I get what Lewis said about acting my age, but I could still win the egg hunt. I could still win the egg hunt if I wanted to. I am sure you could, Lenny. I'm sure you could. Do not bother me. I still have to study for my mock trials. I shouldn't have come to this festival. Okay. Sorry, but rabbits are so cute, especially the tiny little one. Ah! John and I are having way too much fun with the costume cutouts as well. Cough. The peasant who hit us. Think bomb near a hidden egg. If these people, are they that afraid of my skills to stoop so low? I think I hate these people. Yoba has certainly blessed this day with good weather. Okay. See, the eggs are of good quality. At least one thing in this festival is right. All y'all are snobs and shitheads. Go to hell. Bright colors are harder to hide well, and yet the eggs are brightly colored. Egg. Egg. Oh, I love you, Kiwi. I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay, I should pick up the strawberry seeds that I will want to plant. 34. That's not bad. Strawberries are very profitable from what I hear. So if I can get all those on the ground, let's visit Dusty. Real quick. Good boy. Good boy. The fuck? The fuck? It's an Eggman. I am a normal person in an egg suit. Please, carry on. I know it's you, Sen. It's very precious, though. Carry on. Continue with your ruse. I won't reveal to anyone. Okay. Yes, let's start the egg festival. I suck at this festival, unfortunately. He's a perfectly normal man in a perfectly normal egg costume, and there's nothing suspicious going on. It's time for the highlight of today's festivities, the annual spring egg hunt. Calm down now, kiddos. You're gonna need all your energy if you hope to find the most eggs and take home the exclusive prize. Most of these are not children. The children are a minority. Now, is everyone ready? Let the egg hunt begin! Oop. There's an egg, there's an egg, there's an egg. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Egg, 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 eggy, 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 egg. Ooh, I see one, I see one, I see one, I see one. Sen, you're not an egg. Don't deceive me. Egg. Egg, 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 egg. Egg, 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 egg. I don't know the layout. Egg, 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 egg. I don't see any more eggs. I definitely don't have enough to win. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose. No. No. No, I lost the egg hunt. I'm an egg hunting failure. Wow, look at all these eggs. Now, if only I could get you kids to pick up litter this efficiently, we'd have the cleanest town this side of the Gem Sea. Ha. Stop it with the bad jokes and announce the winner, Lulu. I want to get my prize. And you know this event was made for children, right? Now the winner of this year's egg hunt. It's not me. Jas and Vincent. Congrats, kiddos. It's your prize, kiddos. Enjoy. Well, that's it for this year's egg festival. Thanks for coming, everybody. I didn't even see Emily anywhere. She's the one with the blue hair, but I didn't see her. How I managed to miss multiple whole entire people. But I did. Ooh, how am I so low on energy? I have to get these strawberries in the ground so I can go the fuck to bed. That's barely, it's not nearly enough. What do I have to, what the heck that I can eat? What do I have that I can eat? I don't suppose I can craft, oh, I can craft field snacks, thank goodness. I can't eat my kale, I need that shit. Yes. Yes. Till, 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 till. It's really very calming overall. If a little bit stressful on occasion. Alright, let's see. And that is the event of the season completed. The place where socialites everywhere gather around to be mostly condescended to. And meet no one important because this town is tiny and boring to them. It's not to me, but socialites have higher standards. Luckily for Stardew Valley, I am also tiny and boring. Especially tiny. I'm very short. Oh, look at the stars reflecting off that pond. It's beautiful, beautiful. And there we go. Everything watered. And we are ready to tuck in. Oh, I still need to make it less purple. I don't know why it's so purple inside. It's hideous. I'm sure it's some setting I need to turn up or down or left or right, but where it is, what it is, when it is, I don't know. Oh, thank goodness it's a rainy day. I don't have to water. I'm not trying to water. I don't have to water. I don't want to water. Ooh, look at all of this lovely, lovely forage. My blue jazz, and please let me pick my carrots. It is amazingly picky about that sometimes. Okay, I think what the best value with these is to craft them into more spring wild seeds, which I can then plant even more of. I think that's what you're supposed to do to optimize. I think. Kind of seems like these are all planting the same thing, though. Aren't they supposed to have different... I could have sworn they're supposed to have different appearances for the seeds, but maybe I'm wrong. And also delusional and deranged, probably. Something like that. Yes, I am 100% plant girl and 100% lazy. Lazy is all get out. It's really you have to be in order to survive in Stardew Valley. Energy is a precious commodity, and I'm not sharing it with my goddamn orchard plants. Excuse me, ground plants. My orchard plants are lovely and have no needs. They're like the perfect children. Look at that. Exactly enough. Exactly perfect. I am psychic. And my grass is green, my fields are watered, and I am living my best life. Let's go get this shit delivered. Hello, folks. Let's see. Who is it that I haven't met yet after yesterday? I met a lot of people yesterday, but geez, still a lot of people. I managed to completely miss the total. God damn it. I mean, I'm almost rather impressed, but mostly I'm disappointed. Alright, let's get into the community center. So after last week's Stardew streams, I was thinking a lot on Stardew Valley as a game, and, well, what I like about it, what I don't. And I do love this game. It's an important experience for a lot of people, me included. Something that's been, well, part of a lot of people's hearts. Alright, let's get this kale turned in. Why was I growing a blue jazz? Was that... Oh yeah, I bought it on accident, didn't I? So, sticky, fall, summer, winter. Anyway, I was very, very mixed on Stardew Valley when it first released. Like, people were raving about it, and I was admittedly kind of salty about that. Like, kind of extra unhappy with the fact that people loved it, because I have always been an extremely, extremely big fan of the Rune Factory series of games, which are also farming games and are semi-technically competing with Stardew Valley. I have always deeply, deeply loved those games, and they do not get very much attention for, well, they've been getting more recently, but at the time, there had not been a new release in the series for quite a long time, and Stardew Valley felt like just another bit of frustration and disrespect for the series I loved that was getting no time in the spotlight, which I felt and still firmly feel it deserves. A lot of it that I saw was gaming YouTubers. I watched a lot of like the Normal Boots group, which has now, I don't know if it's disbanded, but I think a lot of them had the standard suite of scandals that YouTubers tend to have had back in that. Yes, it was all, for me it was very much all Normal Boots. Like, PBG, Pro Jared, a bunch of that crowd, for better or worse, in terms of my, oh, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. It was the big thing, and one of the reasons it was the big thing, this was not the reason that I disliked it, but one of the reasons it was the big thing was because it was one of the first major farming games to have gay marriage. Stardew Valley, from its very inception, you have been able to marry characters regardless of the gender you selected for your farmer. And that is much more common now, but it was not that, let's go with, in, God, I don't know, was it 2016? 2016 feels too recent. Whenever it was released, it was not very common for, okay, I can't think of any farming games that included non-straight relationships. I can't think of any non-super indie experimental games that included non-straight relationships. So that was a big pull for a lot of people, was, oh, look at that hedgehog! Was getting to play out their actual relationships and their actual stories. Now, as both a straight woman, so the person who has always been catered to by farming games, and also someone who was... It's hard to describe my attitudes towards romance, but let's say that Stardew Valley's styles did not appeal to it at that age, at that time. So that part of what made it so innovative was very much not in my wheelhouse. And then another aspect, the combat, which is an aspect that is not unique to Stardew Valley. The combat made me quite unhappy, because Rune Factory is specifically a farming RPG, and the RPG combat elements are very in-depth. And Stardew felt like a pale imitation of that, when that was an element that I really, really enjoyed about Rune Factory, was the combat and the exploration. And Stardew had it, but bad. So that was very much what I felt about it, was none of the things that I liked best about Rune Factory, all of the things that I found infuriating, some things that caused legitimate anxiety, and a variety of aesthetic complaints and frustrations, and a degree of being a whiny little kid that didn't like admitting to liking something that the mainstream did, which I have thankfully grown up from, because that is a very tired attitude to have. But at that age, I did not have the finest, brightest view of things other people liked. So that also added to my attitude and perspective of dismissing Stardew Valley. And I find some of the complaints that I had at that age to be valid, particularly to do with combat. It is much, much better on keyboard, on controller, than it is on keyboard and mouse. Yes, I was a video gaming hipster, and I was insufferable about it. I still am insufferable, but I'm, like, more accepting of others, while still being insufferable. Yes, I was 100% pure hipster about it, and just don't even want to look at that. It's inferior to me. It's lesser. Thank fuck I have grown up. Especially the combat, I still take issue with. It's much better on controller, but it's still pretty bad. It's not... I love the combat in the Rune Factory games, and maybe if I get a chance, I'll play Rune Factory 4 on stream. It might not be the most entertaining. Ooh, interesting. What's this place? It might not be the most entertaining stream. The label is watermarked and stained. It seems to be about 50 years old, from Cherry Orchards. I don't think I want to be in here. This looks creepy. Where does this go up to? Does this take me into the lighthouse? Interesting. So, watching me play Rune Factory, especially Rune Factory 4, which is my favorite of the series, would probably not be interesting. I know the game very well. Very, very well. And for that, I am probably not the ideal person to experience it with. There is not... I know what's happening, I know what to expect. I can kill many of the bosses first try and hitless. So a lot of that makes for less interesting experiences. This looks interesting. No, nothing there. But I do love it, so I will potentially play that at some point if I get it on PC. That was another very important aspect of what made Stardew different, was that it was available on PC, which none of the competition was at the time. It was basically all strictly Nintendo consoles. The Rune Factory games have only been on the DS and 3DS, for example. The Harvest Moon games, which are now the Story of Season games, and that's a whole different story, and that was happening around Stardew Valley time, and that was another reason. I will get into that in just a minute, but that's a whole mess of a different color. But one of the other reasons was all of those games were very much locked to console, and especially to Nintendo consoles. So if you wanted to play farming games on PC, especially like mainstream big farming games, stuff, people would know what you were talking about when you said Harvest Moon, and not much else. Farming games have had a really big boom and resurgence, in part because of Stardew Valley, but in part because of changing wants and interests and needs in terms of what people play. But regardless, if you wanted to play on a computer, it was Stardew Valley or nothing. Stardew Valley was the option at the time, at least to my knowledge, to my experience, based on what I remember of gaming at that age. Now, I had a DS, and we had a Wii U, so that wasn't as much of an issue for me. That was another place where I was not the target demographic for the solution to the issue. it did not matter to me that Stardew Valley was available on PC, because at that time I did not have a PC, so I couldn't have played it on PC anyway. And Switch wasn't out, so it wasn't available on there. I don't believe it ever came out on Wii, but either way. It was available on PC, and nothing else was available on PC. So that was something very unique, something that was really only Stardew Valley was doing. So that was another area where it was incredibly well received because of that. It also, now I will argue that Ruin Factory games can also be fairly dark and cover some difficult topics, but Stardew Valley does have a number of complicated, difficult topics that it engages with. Whether or not it covers them well is debatable by many metrics, but you cannot say that it does not cover them. And because it was small and self-published, it was also, well, not self-published, but indie-published. Hello, dear. I know you're just getting started as a gardener, so I wanted to give you a little tip. Most crops only grow in one season. When summer arrives, your spring crops will all die out, so plan ahead. Got it, Evelyn? Got it. Okay. So it felt much less like supporting the big industry, and more like you were supporting an indie creator, which of course you were, though Chucklefish, the publisher, has had some criticism, some issues that I don't know enough about them to really go into, but at the time, it felt much better to be supporting a little indie studio and a little indie developer. And of course, Concerned Ape has, in general, at least publicly, obviously, there could be some scandal I'm unaware of, has remained someone that people feel very comfortable supporting, has maintained an extremely strong degree of respect for fans, has even recently stated that he will never charge for DLC or updates for any game, and has generally showed a significant degree of integrity. Now, something else that was going on around the same time was the Harvest Moon Story of Seasons debacle, let's go with. So, Harvest Moon was one of the first, if not the first, farming games. As a genre, as an anything, it starts with Harvest Moon. And Harvest Moon was incredibly popular, incredibly beloved. Games like Friends of Mineral Town, let's see, what else were there? Friends of Mineral Town is the big one. But then others were also incredibly popular and incredibly beloved. And now the games were made by a studio in Japan that the name of it is utterly escaping me right now. I cannot remember. But in the States, and like in English, they were published by Natsume. And the thing with Natsume is that they own the name Harvest Moon. So the concept, the style of the games, it is owned by the studio that makes the Harvest Moon games. But the actual name Harvest Moon, it is owned by the publisher. So what happens when that game studio wants to renegotiate some things? Well, the two of them split. And now the games that have been Harvest Moon cannot be published under the name Harvest Moon anymore. Ew, it smells. And, of course, the studio does not want to stop publishing them, so they start publishing them as the Story of Seasons series with Marvelous, which also publishes the Loon Factory games. Okay, Vincent looks like he's in tears. Why is it locked? I want to explore the sewers. You don't, kid. You don't. Sewers are bad. I think Marlon has the key. Marlon, the man who hunts monsters? Why do you think he has it? Saw a big rusty key fall out of his pocket once in time. Maybe a sewer door like this just scoffed me a mat for a big rusty old key. Jas is spitting straight truth. Oh, hi kids. There's something moving around in there. Okay. Well, I don't think so, so. Sounds fake to me. So, the people that have made Harvest Moon are now publishing under Story of Seasons. But Natsume still owns the Harvest Moon name. And the Harvest Moon name is incredibly well-known and beloved and marketable. So they make their own Harvest Moon games. And they're not good. They're really, really not good. They are farming sims, but they've managed to lose a lot of what made Harvest Moon special to people in the first place. They have managed to just be generally bad games. Like, even for people who deeply love that style of game, who play every one of them that they are able to, that is available to them. Like, I have never touched a Natsume Harvest Moon game. Never. And I don't intend to. I'm not. There's a degree of loyalty, of course, because, I mean, it's kind of a shitty thing. And I love the Story of Seasons Harvest Moon games. But also, they have a... Okay, if you want to, like, if you look up the art style, and I say this kindly, especially for the earliest of the new Natsume Harvest Moons, they were hideous. They were legitimately hideous. And they had some really... Oh, excuse me one moment. The music is way too loud for me. I can't hear it. Alright, much better, much better. So they had a really bad art style, and obviously that alone is not a death sentence. But a really bad art style combined with not entirely seeming to understand the genre they were working in. So there were a lot of issues with it, things like, excuse me, the first of the new games in that series not having a town to go to. You're stuck on your farm and in wild areas. There isn't a town to go to and visit. And obviously, the town and the townsfolk and marriage systems and befriending people, that's a big, important part of the games for a lot of people. Me included, that's one of my favorite aspects. And in these games, so they're all NPCs, but they come and visit your farm, like, periodically. It's not under your control or anything, and there's no town to go visit, and there's not that sense of community. And that's what a lot of people are looking for, and what a lot of people want in these games. And they just kind of dumped it. Now, they backpedaled really fast on that in later games, but in, like, the first couple, they went with new for the sake of new, and it turned out really bad. And the Story of Seasons games, the newer Story of Seasons games, the Story of Seasons games that have come after that debacle, I really love them, but they do have issues of their own. They have much less severe issues than do the new Harvest Moon games. But they do have issues. But Stardew Valley came out in the middle of all of that, and again, you still could not marry someone of the same gender as your player character. There was very little choice in how your character presented. Obviously, there was a pretty strict gender binary in terms of how your character was addressed and perceived, and then also in Harvest Moon: A New Beginning, ironically the last of the non-Natsume Harvest Moons, and thus pretty definitionally the ending. Your character, as a female character, you primarily wore dresses for your female farmer. Found the Lost Axe, better return to Robin. You had overalls and stuff, but it was very feminine coded. And Stardew Valley comes out, and your character is much more androgynous. Although you have an explicit gender choice, but it has much less to do with anything. You can marry anyone of any gender. And you can see how that became a big, important deal. How that became something super, super important for people who were maybe interested in this genre, but didn't feel, oh, a stranger, my name's Vincent, Mama says not to talk to strangers, but you seem okay. People who did not feel represented, who were cut off from that main environment because it was very heteronormative and very cisnormative and extra not in a good way. Like, that's already bad, but it comes from a very conservative culture, because a lot of these were Japanese games coming from a very conservative culture of game making, following a very specific guideline. The games had not changed very much. Yes, exactly. Women like flowers, men like horses, probably. The games have never been all that aimed at men, but it's definitely been more but even when it is female oriented, it's been female oriented. Ooh, is that a real weapon? Is that better than my... Yeah, that's better than my sword. Even though it's been female-oriented, it's been female-oriented in a very gender-binary way. And that is uncomfortable for a lot of people. This was not uncomfortable for me as a kid, because I was, a kid, and a kid who was very comfortable in her gender, and did not know anyone who had very much expressed those kind of emotions and outlooks. I was aware that people who were non-binary, people who were trans, people who were gay existed, but as an autistic person, things outside of my own experience don't exist to an extent. Like, just completely do not come up in my mind. So at that age, the fact that those people were not represented and not welcomed just did not exist as a thing to me. This was not a concept that my brain cared to note. So obviously, I took no issue with, dear neighbor, I hope you're feeling settled in your new home. I am waiting to let you know that our store is now selling fertilizers. You'll be amazed at the difference they make. Caroline. Cute Caroline? That's very nice of you. So obviously I was very oblivious to this. But a lot of other people were not, and were very, very gratified to find that Stardew Valley was doing something different and better. But for me, loving the Rune Factory games, and not really having those issues with that perspective, it felt like it was doing everything worse. Rune Factory 4, for example, is a game that I have lauded and will continue to laud as having extremely, extremely lovable, likable, wonderful characters. And Stardew Valley's creator, Concerned Ape, has many talents, and he has improved over the years as he has developed Stardew Valley. Initially, writing was definitely not one of his talents. Some of the base game characters on release had perhaps 30 unique lines of dialogue. At all. Ever. Anywhere in the game. Whereas in Rune Factory 4, which I played before I ever encountered Stardew Valley, you could have characters who had hundreds of different dialogue lines and who were just purely incidental. Completely incidental characters, hundreds of lines, and really fascinating storytelling that said a lot about the world of NORAD, where the Rune Factory games are set. And Stardew Valley is working from a very different perspective than the Rune Factory games. So obviously this did not scratch the itch in the same way when I came looking for interpersonal relationships and interesting storytelling on top of the farming gameplay. That was not present for me. So it was obviously at least a little, unhappy with it for that element alone. And then there's the combat. Rune Factory has some very specific in-depth elements to its farming that Stardew doesn't have. And having played both, I enjoy them in very different ways. Interestingly, in Rune Factory 4, seeds are not season-locked at all. So you can plant them and grow them in any season. They will just grow a little slower in non-peak seasons, which makes it much easier to abandon your farm, ignore it, and go do combat like God intended. And go fight God. You do fight God. That's a thing that happens. You fight God. Sort of. There's asterisks involved, but let's not get into that. That's a spoiler. But coming to this from Rune Factory 4, it was really disappointing. Listen, God doesn't want to fight you, but it happens. It happens. You know, it's just like that sometimes. It's like that. Haven't you ever fought God but by mistake? Like, just out of pure chance? I have. It was really tragic. Interesting. Hi, Lewis. What's going on? Lewis? Good day, Celine. Morris promised Jojo would clear away this rock slide by now. Susan is trapped at home and can't get out except by a train. Now he's telling me the cleanup operation is delayed until early summer. My hands are tied. As the mayor of Pelican Town, it's my duty to ensure everyone's safe. Morris and I will reach a resolution regarding the rock slide soon. I guess really no one was hurt during the rock slide. Wow, Joe just sucks. Must be on my way, Celine. Don't bother using your pickaxe to try to remove these rocks. It would take you months. Okay. And thanks for telling me. Joe just sucks. Anyway, so there have been some interesting developments in terms of a lot of that. Now, first of all, a lot of more recent farming games have been coming out on PC and on other consoles, but particularly on PC, which is, of course, the most generally accessible option for games. So there's been a lot of games that have been coming out on PC, and that's been, really, really amazing. In particular, the remake, the remaster, re-release of Rune Factory 4 was released on PC. And that was a really tremendous job, and it's really beautiful, and I absolutely love it. It was released on Switch too, which is where I have the most time in it. But it was released on PC, as was the next game in the series, Rune Factory 5. Now, this is another reason why I started to get more of a positive opinion on Stardew Valley, was that Rune Factory 5, unfortunately, has some issues. It's not riddled with them, and it's quite good, personally. I very much enjoy it. But it is immensely flawed. It is a very flawed game. Let's try some mining. Let's put this away, and this away. I want to take the carrots with me so I can eat them. Particularly on Switch, I don't know if it has the same, I don't know if it has all of the same issues on PC, but it has some quite bad lag. And the writing is not, in my opinion, is not as good as Rune Factory 4. There are some really interesting things that they do within it and within the Rune Factory lore that I absolutely love. But, as a whole, it is less than its predecessor, to me. Which is really unfortunate because it has had and has a ton of potential. But it doesn't matter so much that an individual game is a bit of a flop era, because it went a long way in showing that there is still a lot of love in the series, a lot of interest in it, and that is important for getting me, specifically, the biggest fan of all Rune Factory games, more Rune Factory. I am the fan, the best of all fans. You cannot compete with me in Rune Factory knowledge, and I am the lover of all things Rune Factory, and please give me more Rune Factory games. Please, I'll do anything. And then they also remastered Rune Factory. Oh, lagged there for a sec. I don't know why. They also remastered Rune Factory 3, which I had mixed emotions on first playing, but very much enjoyed playing the remaster, and just replaying in general. It is really lovely. Really, the series in general is wonderful. Absolutely one of, if not my favorite, series of games in general. And one that I could have and could play countless hours of. But definitely one that is not devoid of issues all its own. Including the fact that, with an exception, but it's kind of a complicated exception that we won't go into, prior to Rune Factory 4, and I repeat, this is slightly complicated, but prior to Rune Factory 4, you played solely as a male character. You could not decide to play... Ooh, rubber boots. Interesting. Put those on for safety. You could not play a female character. And you could, because it was still within that conservative culture, you could only marry female characters. So that is something that is fairly ingrained in those earlier games. That is not something they changed when they remastered 3. And 3 was one of the games where you could not play as a female character. Now, I personally, of all the games, I will forgive 3 specifically for this, because it is a heavily story-focused game, where the plot is inherently tied to your character's romance, and also some like sexist stuff, like some sexist parts of the world in which you live, which would mean that the story would change quite drastically if they wanted to try and change that. So I will give 3 specifically a pass on that, because when your story is based in telling a very specific sort of story, even if it would be better to have the option, I can understand for the era and the games they were making and the patterns they had already established for their own series. I get it. I don't like it. I'd love to play 3 and marry one of the male characters instead of the female and that sort of thing, although really, the characters in every Rune Factory game are so amazing and lovable that I'm never it's never frustrated me in the way it would have in another game. I've always been much more comfortable with that. Yes, exactly. God, you have no idea. So, in the Rune Factory games, in all of the Rune Factory games, there's this family of characters. And there's a cousin or a brother, there's a relative of this family in every one of the games. And they are the Descent Keels. And they are very rich. No one knows how they got rich. Like, no one knows, and it seems actively improbable for some of them to be rich. Such as the restaurateur who eats almost all of his own dishes before they can make it to the customers, because the other joke is that all of the like, middle-aged men of the family are extremely fat. Like, that is the joke. For better or worse. That is the choice that they went with. But they are, in general, surprisingly upstanding people. Just incredibly rich. Like, alarmingly rich. Like, sponsor an entire plaza in town and name it after themselves rich. Like, broker a peace between two countries as a neutral party rich. And the game never really has much to say about that, despite how concerning it is in the face that you're probably making right now. But surprisingly, they're usually upstanding, if very strange people. But anyway, that aside, and they are... Some of them are some of my favorite characters. Some of them are characters in the game. Some of them are present. Some of them I accept the existence of. But anyway. The fashion of the game, the way that they have chosen to make it work, the way they chose for those earlier games, definitely had its issues. There was the absence of being able to play as a female character, mostly sort of. There's two really weird asterisks. And I said I wasn't going to get into it, but I'm so going to, because I have so much to say about this series, and you can't stop me. So, essentially, there's 7 Rune Factory games. There are 4 on DS, 3 on DS, 1 on 3DS, and 2 on Wii. And then 1 on Switch, 1 solely on Switch. And the DS, 3DS, and Switch games are consequently numbered, so that is essentially the main series. And then the Wii games are still farming games, but they are semi-spin-offs. So you have Rune Factory Frontier, which is unique in that it is the only direct sequel in the series. It is a direct sequel to the first game. And yes, there are no other direct sequels. Every game exists within the same universe and shares some amount of the same cast. But Frontier is the only one to be an actual full sequel featuring the same character. So that makes Frontier unique. But then the other game, Tides of Destiny, is unique in its own way. And that is it's a special way. But suffice it to say, there is a point in the game, very late into the game, like you've been playing for potentially hundreds of hours at that point, where you get to choose if you want to continue playing the game as a male character or a female character. and your choice goes from there. And you can only get married after this point, but by the time you get to this point, you've played essentially the entire game, like, pretty much all of it. Like, you have essentially not 100%ed it, but you've done the entire main story and much of the side content to be able to get to the point where the game has you make this choice. And then you can play as a female character. Only then. Not before then. Despite the vast majority of the game taking place before then. The vast majority of the game you have to play as a male character. But at that point of the game, after that, then you can play as a female character. For what little of the game is left to play. So that is a very unique feature of the game, for better or worse. And then the other exception, and this one is much less weird, but, like, still kind of, fuck, I passed out. I was on my way home. Oh no, I didn't want to pass out. No. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Ooh, yeah, I learned to craft the bug steak. Delicious. So the other exception to the rule would be Rune Factory 2, which is much more normal about it. Hello. Look at that kitty. Hello, Celine. You see this cat here? I found it sitting outside the entrance to your farm. I think it's a stray. Poor little thing. Give me the cat. Give me the cat, Monty. I think it likes this place. Hey, don't you think this farm could use a good cat? Absolutely. I think I'm going to name you... Oh, this is hard. Waffles. You see, Waffles is the name of my real active cat, so... Well, little Waffles, you be a good kitty now, okay? Okay. Look at that sweet boy! So, anyway, as I was saying, after I checked the mail, here, I know there's a lot of stones scattered around your farm. If you have a surplus, you might consider having me build a well for you. Wells can be placed all over your farm and serve as convenient places to refill your watering can. Just swing by with 75 stone or 1,000 gold when you're ready. So you've been exploring the old mine. You've got the adventurous spirit, that I can tell. You can slay 10 slimes, you'll have earned your place in my adventurous guild. Be careful. Dear Miss Celine, last night a Jodi team member found you incapacitated. A medical team was dispatched to bring you home safely. We are glad you're okay. You've been billed 258G for this service. We love the American healthcare system. Morris, Jodi customer satisfaction representative. Fuck you too, Morris. So, as I was saying before I got sidetracked reading the mail, the other exception to that rule is Rune Factory 2, which begins you playing as a male character for a period of time, and then transitions you to playing as that character's child, which he can have either a son or a daughter. So in that sense, you can play as a male or female character, but the main sticking point in that one, when considering it for actually playing a male or female character, is that the character you play is only about 8 years old. So given that the romance aspect is the draw of playing a character of various genders for a lot of people, that is obviously not really present when it comes to playing the female child in Rune Factory 2. You cannot romance people as the child. Well, you can, but you can't, you could have schoolyard romances. They're very cute, but they're not romances in the strict sense. So obviously that does not fit the need and want that many people have. So it was not until Rune Factory 4 that you could play as a female character for the actual full game. And then it was not until 5 that you could marry people regardless of gender. But in 5, they did bring that in, and it's very interesting, having read the team at Marvelous's patch notes. They released a number of notes talking about the process of localizing the game. The localization team, actually fought to have gay marriage included in the game as a specific feature, as a specific element. So they actually, brought that to the team and said, hey, we would like this, and we think that this is something that the game needs. And the development team took it and brought it in, and, well, I consider it bare minimum now for the games going forward, although it's probably not a feature I'll get much use out of. But I think in the world that we live in, yes, definitely great restraint involved, absolutely. You know, bare minimum, thank fuck. Although, again, there's an asterisk involved, as in Rune Factory 2, playing as, well, technically either the male or female child characters, but the female one is the one that's at issue, essentially. I thought I got more quotes than that. I could have sworn I had. There are 2 twin sisters who you can get married to both of them. And the thing is that you can get married with an asterisk because they don't know what marriage is. So it's not that you can actually get married, it's that they have heard that marriage is a thing that adults do when they like someone, and they like you, both of them, but platonically. So you can technically get married as the female child in that game. Or technically get gay married as the female child, if you consider that to count, which I don't, because no, the reasons why are hopefully pretty obvious. Alright, we are getting comfortably most of the way into spring. Spring ends on the 28th, so we're past the halfway mark. We're doing pretty well for ourselves, I think. I would say that we are... we're not the most financially solvent, but we're not broke. We're beginning slowly to develop relationships with people around town, when I can find them, because we're still missing quite a few, unfortunately. Oh, what else? Well, yeah, I know, it's right on time. It's a very scheduled end. It's the same for all seasons in Stardew Valley, they're all exactly 28 days, which is very neat and very inaccurate. And of course it's a thing in farming games that you have spring, summer, winter, fall instead of the actual months, because you played through at least in casual farming games. I believe it's different in games like Farming Simulator, where it's much more in-depth on simulating the actual work, rather than providing a very casual experience, like what Stardew Valley works to provide. But obviously, sending you through every single month would be a lot to ask of the player. That would be a lot of time to ask of them, to drag them into things for. But yeah, on exactly the 28th, we will see the last of spring, and on exactly the day after, we will see the first of summer. I'm not sure if we will get to that tonight, but if not tonight, then definitely Friday. Now, as for 28 days is very much the ideal for a lot of games, because obviously it's evenly divisible by 7. So you can have nice clean weeks. You can have exactly 4 weeks to a month, and that is it's very easy to work with, especially, but it's also, it's satisfying, it's very pleasant in terms of helping you keep track of things, and you're not trying to remember, oh, are there extra days here? What do I need to plan for? You can always plan for the exact same thing. Now, in Rune Factory, which, of course, I have all of the love in the world for, perhaps too much, there is the very minor, but also I personally think very interesting difference that weeks are 6 days long. Sunday and Saturday are condensed into 1 day, just holiday. So within the Rune Factory games, as opposed to having... Okay, I need to take quite a few of these things with me. Yes, they condensed it to 1 day. You don't get Saturday and Sunday off now, you only get holiday off. Although they probably offer more time off, people don't seem to spend much time working in the Rune Factory world. They have better things to do with their days. But, well, within that, they then have 30-day months. And it was quite a surprise for me coming to Stardew Valley and having the 28-day months, because I was used to the 30-day and the 6-week, and it seemed strange. It seemed almost silly a little bit. Now, another thing that Stardew Valley does that I have never liked and have in fact modded out of existence for this particular playthrough, and this is something I've always found very strange, actually, is that time, ordinarily, in the vanilla game, time passes in increments of 10 minutes. Exactly 10 minutes. And it takes forever to pass. So there is no 4:59 p.m. There is only 4:50 and 5 p.m. Oh, absolutely, yes. They did not want to touch months starting on different days of the week, and I can't blame them. I wouldn't want to either. Hello, Gunther, my friend. Abysmal. Not a single piece in the entire collection. Don't worry, I have plenty. I have loads for your collection. What's this? You found something? Let me see it. Here you go. Remarkable. It's very old. I'd love to study this in greater detail, but it is yours. Got a favor to ask you. Would you consider donating any new artifacts or minerals that you find? We could make a groundbreaking discovery together. And who knows, if you keep donating, I might come across some interesting items to send your way. This is definitely bribery, but I don't know if I disapprove. Think about it, will you? Decide to donate, just bring the objects to the front desk. You got it, my man. But yes, having everything so neat definitely makes things a lot cleaner to deal with, a lot easier, a lot more comfortable for really devs and players alike. Opaz, fairly common, but still prized for its beauty. Amethyst, a purple variant of quartz. Earth crystal, a resinous substance found near the surface. Quartz, clear crystal commonly found in caves and mines. Thank you. Glad to have been of service, my man. Now, obviously, there is no standard But there are a lot of things that you can expect from most farming games. Who are you? Have we met? Oh yeah, Olga. It'd be a shame to have your crops wilt. It would. I don't want that to happen. That'd be bad. I'd be out a lot of money. Now, of course, in a farming game, you can expect to be farming. That is probably the biggest thing that you can definitely expect to be happening in a farming game where you are farming. But in the vast majority of the casual, cozy farming games, like Stardew Valley, you can often expect fishing to be an auxiliary feature alongside usually mining of some description. You can generally expect to be able to customize your land, not always the interior of your home, that goes back and forth, but at the very least you can expect to be able to customize your farm layout, of course, usually in some games by placing decorations. Ooh, I see you there, I see you there. Ooh, red onion. In some by placing decorations, in some primarily by the placement of your fields, but there are a variety of options. In some, you can decide where to place your coops and barns and things, in others you can't. But generally, you can expect to have both crop and animal farming. You can expect to have fishing and mining as auxiliary features. You can expect to be befriending and potentially romancing characters in whichever village your farm belongs to. You can generally expect to belong to some given village. You can expect festivals, you can expect usually that the people you marry will be in their 20s. That's something that's been changing in a few games, especially Stardew Valley, but even in Rune Factory 5 and some of the more recent Story of Seasons games, like the titular Story of Seasons, there are some older people, some older marriage candidates, as I at least call them. But in general, you can be expecting them to be, 20s. Stardew Valley has a few as well, but not as many. But anyway, I find it interesting to know what a lot of those, what could be considered standards are, because I find it very interesting when games break those standards or build outside of them. Now, obviously, a lot of games will have whatever their core feature is, and that will be the thing that sets it apart. Stardew Valley does not really have a core feature as such, in the same way I would say other games do. So, for example, in the Harvest Moon Story of Seasons games, there was Grand Bazaar, in which you had a stall in a bazaar that came to town every some amount of time. Tapper, mushroom log, wild seeds, compact mill, strawberry bush, raspberry bush, mugwort bush. In Harvest Moon Tale of Two Towns, there were a pair of towns situated on either side of a mountain that had a feud, and the primary gameplay story aspect was bringing those towns back together through cooking festivals, which was another primary feature, was that they went very in-depth on the cooking in that game. In A New Beginning, it was one of the first where it offered you a lot of control over the appearance of areas, particularly it allowed you were revitalizing a town, which was the titular New Beginning. So it allowed you to control the layout of your town, and that was the big feature. Now, Stardew Valley does not, or I would say on release, did not really have a particular big feature in the same way. It had very much the standard suite of crops, animals, farming, mines. Now, you might think the mines are unique, but they are not. Like I said, combat is a very big part of the Rune Factory games, but procedurally, semi-procedurally generated, or almost roguelike in a sense, mines have been a part of several Harvest Moon games, so that aspect is also not unique. Having the ability to marry candidates of the same gender is unique, but it's not... It's a variation on an existing element, not really something built out of the blue. Now, since then, Stardew Valley has innovated in a number of ways. It has added quite an expansive set of post-game features, and that is something which is not particularly common. Farming games often will have a story, but it's usually somewhat minor, relatively time-gated, and it's not really the focus. Now, Stardew Valley, it does not really have a story as such, but it does have the community center, and then there's a significant amount of post-community center elements, whereas in, say, Harvest Moon: A New Beginning, after you finish filling out the town, all you really have to do is rearrange the town, keep farming, and keep talking to people. There's not more that becomes available. Aside from, like, cosmetic items that I personally don't consider to count for that. So that is something that Stardew Valley has been building on. Now, something it did innovate on was multiplayer. Harvest Moon: A New Beginning did have a very minor multiplayer aspect, but it was purely through... Oh, Waffles, you're so cute! Such a good kitty. That was purely through the ability to go to a specific area, like sign up, create a shitty lobby, because in case you're unaware, games on Nintendo consoles have notoriously terrible online anything. So you go to a shitty online lobby, you'd bring one of, like, your cows, and then your friends could pet your cow for you. And that was all. That was the sum of the online Harvest Moon: A New Beginning. Now, in Stardew Valley, you can fully play a farm completely 100% online. And this is facilitated by the game being on Steam, which does offer its own lobbies. I believe you can play online otherwise, but Steam specifically strongly facilitates that element. And it is a very nice element. You can play... I believe you can also play local split screen as a more recent update. Hi, Lily! Welcome! Yes, Moral is streaming and talking too much about farming games. Yes, or Celine is streaming and talking way too much about farming games. I think I've been talking about farming games for at least half an hour, and I am nowhere near done unless you all are getting bored, which I wouldn't blame you, because this is an extremely niche topic that probably no one but me cares about. Yes, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts on this subject. And I have other subjects I have a lot of thoughts on. But, like, I do like getting my thoughts out there. But if y'all are getting sick of me, I can transition to a different subject to ramble on for the remaining half hour of stream we have tonight. Oh no, we're not talking about Stardew Valley specifically. Or we are, but we're also kind of not. See, we're talking about, I'm talking incessantly and probably annoyingly, I have a lot to say, like I said, about the differences between various farming games and how those differences developed and why Stardew Valley has a lot of the fame and interest that it does, and what other games exist in the genre, and how they are similar to Stardew and how they differ. So what I was saying when you showed up, I am so glad to see you. I love seeing y'all all stop in. is that essentially one of the things that Stardew did that was new. Let's see, what do I need to leave? I need to leave the bug meat, specifically. That was new and unique to it was having multiplayer. I need to get into Sunhaven. That's one of the big farming games that I haven't played. I have a whole laundry list of farming games that I need to play. Like, specifically on stream, but also just in general. I love farming games. It is perhaps one of, if not the favorite genre for me. Especially farming RPGs, which is one of the things that I do like a lot about Stardew, although it is, let's go with a lesser farming RPG for me compared to some of the other ones I've played. But I also really love it. Like, it's grown on me. I said earlier, but I was not a fan of Stardew for a variety of reasons when it first launched. But I have become much more of a fan of it. So, multiplayer is something that I don't believe any other farming game has to quite the same extent. None that I can think of, at least. Some have a degree of online integration. The Rune Factory games have, well, 2 has a very strange minigame, and 3 had, in the original version, some variety of online leaderboards. Although, that is lost now because DS Online is no longer a thing. But it did have them. I can confirm it did have them. But in Stardew, you can fully play, start to finish, with friends online, which is not something you can really do in any other game. And there is not a lesser status. You are not less able to play by virtue of not being the main farmer. There is not... Yes, friendship. Friendship is delightful. There are no features that you lose. Like, it is built to allow for both online and more recently split-screen multiplayer, and that is unique to Stardew. But, yes, please. Friend to do all of my chores for me, so I can just stand here and yap about farming games for 2 straight hours. Which, honestly, I could do it for a lot more, especially if I got more into talking about Rune Factory. Like, I only touched on the tip of the Rune Factory iceberg in my earlier Rune Factory ranting. So you do not want to know what more I have to say about Rune Factory if I get started. Like, so much. Just so much. But I would argue that the multiplayer, despite being really incredible and absolutely a selling point, it's not a gameplay feature to the extent of what I'm looking at compared to, say, a lot of the Harvest Moon Story of Seasons games, which have the primary gameplay loop common to functionally all farming games, where, you know, they all work basically the same, and then the difference is big feature A or B that's the thing in the game that sets it apart from the rest of the games in whichever series you're playing. And I would say that personally, at least at launch, Stardew did not have something that fit that criteria. It has I need to keep that, actually. It has very much grown into its own and come to have a lot of those really, really lovely, interesting features and stuff elements that are selling points all on their own. But on launch, I personally don't find it had anything of that caliber. But now there are elements like fish ponds, which are an alternate method of working on fishing that is very unique to Stardew Valley, and Ginger Island, which is a form of post-game content that is absolutely very, very unique to Stardew Valley, and cheese side quests and the casino. Well, gambling in games is not too unique, but I can't think off the top of my head of another farming game that has gambling, so I'll give it to it. And, of course, being able to experience being bisexual, or player-sexual, as I find it, more explanatory to refer to in these sorts of games, because very often the characters do not have a defined sexuality aside from being attracted to you, the character, which is honestly something that I have mixed emotions about in terms of how interesting I find it, honestly. I find characters having canon sexualities and canon romanticisms more interesting, but also I do get irrationally annoyed when I can't romance characters in games because they are not attracted to my character's gender. So it's probably for the best that it doesn't have that, even if I think that's cool. But compared to that, I think... Anyway, the reason that I went on that whole, this is the thing, these are the things that are unique and not about Stardew Valley, is that among the other farming games that I've played, there are a number that have their own very unique elements, like elements that absolutely stand out and then some, such as Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which I would really love to play on here at some point. It's an amazing game and just a ton of fun, and also has really good voice acting, so I don't have to read everything and can talk through it. And some really nice gameplay elements. But it is a farming game, but it does not follow many of the traditional elements common to this particular genre. So much so that I would argue that it's not fully a strict farming game. I would argue that it's a different genre, despite the fact that it contains farming, same as Stardew Valley. It may have the same elements, but I would absolutely argue that it is not strictly the same genre. And then games like Sunhaven, which I have not had the opportunity to play, but which is absolutely unique in its own right for variety of characters and a lot of the stylistic elements of it, and I personally am a big fan of farming games, so I like to keep my finger on the pulse of them, so to speak, so I know about a lot of the farming games that have been releasing recently. So there's also games like Kinseed, where part of the element of it is that characters age and die. Sorry, Jodi, this is for the community center, not you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a good night, rest well. I hope to see you back again another day. Send emojis, but I can't chat right now. But I'm sending you all of the hearts and all of the hugs and all the love. had one. All of them. So many more than you could imagine. Really, probably a terrifying amount of hugs. Like, you'd suffocate. Anyway, Kinseed is one that I really have to play. I'm sort of hesitant to play it because it is slowly marching forward in early access. It is an extremely experimental game by the developers of Fable, if you're familiar with that series. So, quite outside of the norm in a number of areas when it comes to game design and game play, you know. And also, for obvious reasons, when playing any kind of very experimental product, you do run the risk of losing save data as it passes from version to version, so I have been very hesitant to play it. I do own it, and I find it really one of the most exciting projects being developed in general at present, but it is definitely, it's sort of a hard sell to get into, knowing that whatever I do today may not be there tomorrow. Ah, there we go. Everything watered. Jodi can have a cauliflower next season. This is not for her. Oh, what else? So, continuing on from Kinseed, and believe you me, this gets, however obscure and strange you may have found this already, it gets worse. It gets much worse. I can go so long you wouldn't even believe, and I can go so niche you wouldn't even believe. But anyway, as of last I checked, bundle complete. That's exciting. I love getting one of those done. Speed grow. Can I move? Oh no, it's opening the next set of opening the boiler room bundles. So as of last I checked, and of course this may have changed, but I hope it hasn't because it's very exciting to me. One of the artists working on Kinseed is an artist I'm very familiar with and find the work of, like, really, really lovely. The Treasure Hunters bundle, 5 gems, Geologist bundle, and the Engineers bundle. Alright, that's kind of mean, but it won't be that bad. Anyway, so, one of the artists working on it, assuming they still are and things have not changed, is Kaz, who is one of my favorite, like, very, very favorite. Oh, Isabel, I told you knew that. Yeah, my name's Isabel. What's yours? Nice to meet you. I hope you have a great stay. One of my very, very favorite artists from the RPG Maker community, which I am very engaged in, is absolutely one of my favorite things to just look around in, mess around in. I wonder where the total lives. I feel like all of these people live in Ridgeside, but I'm not sure. I'll go take a look, though. But Kaz is one of my favorite and one of the artists I find most interesting within the RPG Maker community. And they make really, really beautiful pixel art icons, and they are doing the icons for Kinseed, last I knew. How do I skip? That's how I skip. And art in the RPG Maker community is... New face, are you new here? Oh, my manners, I'm sorry. My name is Quinn. I work at the outside outdoor restaurant for Inside Village. Nice to meet you. I talk all your kids. Looks like a stiff breeze could blow you over. Ha. Screw you too, old man. Hello there, Celine. How was the cable car ride? Welcome to Ridgeside Village. Village on the side of the ridge. The slogan is a work in progress. I guess you finally read the letter he gave you. I'm the one and only Lenny. Please hold your applause until after the tour. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer of Ridgeside. It's a complicated way to say she who does the paperwork. We don't get a lot of visitors from outside the valley, so we're really happy to see you. Nice to meet you too, Lenny. It's been a while since anyone lived on that crusty old cottage on Understar's farm. It's owned by a good friend of mine, so I can take good care of it. Good friend indeed. Are you my grandmother? Let me show you around town with a quick tour. Buckle up, buckaroo. Lenny, I've been up here already. Please, free me. First, we have the Log Cabin Hotel. It's a great place to relax after a long hike through the mountains. It has a private balcony for events, and even a gym on the 3rd floor. You're still not worn out after your hike. This right here is the town square, the beating heart of the village. Folks like to hang around here and socialize with other townspeople, weather permitting. Up the stairs is where the magic happens. That's my office. It's made of wood, bricks, and paperwork. I occasionally visit Lewis regarding municipal duties, or, just to tease him for taking himself too seriously. It's my Yoba-given right as his sister. Smell that? That's Pika's, the primary hub for Ridgeside cuisine. I like the dishes he serves, and I love the atmosphere. You can get me started on the view. Don't look down, though. If you do, don't blame me when you start feeling nauseous. Feast your eyes on the starbound stage. Robin and Clint helped us build this stage for gatherings and activities. Hasn't seen much use lately. It's a shame, to tell the truth. Local morale hasn't been all that great recently either. There are rumors going around town about dangerous fruits, spooky ghosts. I can assure you those are nothing but rumors. The only dangerous fruit is a pumpkin during Spirit's Eve. Yeah, there's a desert, but it's not here, so must be a pretty fucking impressive smell. There are several other farmers living in the village. Jared's farm, Blooming Hill Farm, is northwest. He must be made of mushrooms. He's a fun guy. Get it? Seriously, he sells useful products. We also have Nightingale Orchard in the southwest, managed by the Lindens and their niece Alyssa. Alyssa is a sweet young lady with a wonderful voice. She lacks the confidence to perform, unfortunately. Thank you for telling me, random people's secrets. Just random strangers. Perhaps someone special could help her find herself. Pass. Too boring. That concludes the grand tour. I wish you a warm welcome to the valley, Celine, and even warmer welcome to Ridgeside Village. Alright, who am I looking for? I'm looking for a lot of people, and I don't know the half. This guy, this woman, this guy, this lady, this guy, this woman, this guy. Or woman. That might be a woman, I can't tell. Well, time to break and enter into every single house. Are you one of the people I've yet to meet? Oh, hey, you're a new face. Pretty new to town myself. My name's Sean. Let's hang out sometime. I admit for a long time, I thought that was pronounced scene. So, be glad I don't. Good day to you, Celine. Hello, Alyssa. Sorry I called you boring, but it's true. So I guess I'm not actually sorry. Yeah, exactly. Scene Bean. It's a criminal shame that his name is not Scene Bean. Good to meet you, esteemed guest. I haven't seen you around these parts before. Assume you're the new farmer Lewis informed me about? Welcome to the valley, Celine. I'm Richard, owner of the humble log cabin hotel. If you ever fancy some quality service and fine hospitality, our doors are always open. Good to meet you, buddy. I mostly fancy meeting anyone who lives here. Interesting. You look fake. Man, I was looking forward to taking a picture by the waterfalls. Yep, definitely fake. Fake characters. Which is fun. I love having the area filled up. Yeah, could not agree more. It's a criminal shame that his name is not Sean B. His name is Sean Bean and not Scene Bean. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine being named Scene Bean? Alright, that's where Richard lives and sleeps. Good for him, good for him. So many people to meet. It's interesting that they chose to name him Sean, because, isn't there already a Sean? I could have sworn there was already a Sean. Somewhere in the list. Have I not met him? I have met him. I've definitely met him. So where is he? Where's my guy Sean? I mean, here's Sean 1, but where's Sean 2? Yeah, Shane and Sean. That's why I was struggling to find him. Still though, I mean, they're such similar names, so it's an interesting choice to me. I like it though, I like it. Who are you? If we met, do I need to meet you? Hi. You're the new farmer who just moved in, right? I'm Ian. It's good to meet you. I live in Ridgeside Village. Generally, I work for whoever asks. Includes you, of course. Got it. Man of all work. Good to meet you. I don't really care who you are. I just care about having met everyone. Every individual. That's Olga. Nice to see you again, Olga. Sorry I keep mistaking you for other people. I just can't tell you apart very well. Aloha. You must have followed your nose. I own Pika's, an outdoor restaurant in the heart of the village. I'm from Ember Island in the Fern Isles. Maybe I can teach you some of our language sometime, eh? Nice to meet you, man. Meet you too. You're new to the Good day to you. You're new to the countryside too? My name is Faye. Nice to meet you. I think Ridgeside is the perfect place to launch my fashion career. Honey, this is the boonies. It's not. Along with that, I work as a waitress at Pika's restaurant. Hope you have a wonderful farming career. Thanks. Hey there, nice to meet you. I'm Anton. If you ever need something made, go see Robin. I'm sure I'll be seeing you around. There's the total. Been looking for you everywhere, buddy. Licked total lips. Ew. Someone take Torts away from me. I don't want to be friends with Torts anymore. I take it back. I take it all back. Okay. How am I doing for meeting people? How am I doing for meeting people? Okay, I'm only missing 5. White guy, red hair, white red hair, red hair, dark brown hair, dark red hair. And the last one, but the last one I know where she is. It's just that I can't get there because she lives in the same area as Susan. Hello, my name's Shanice. My husband and I manage the general store. Hello, boat. Ciao, you must be new here. My name's Lorenzo, owner of the general store. If you ever need supplies, come visit us. What I need is to find the remaining citizens of Ridgeside Village, who are eluding me. It's locked. Only Ezekiel's trusted friends can enter his house. I don't want to be his friend. I hate Ezekiel. Only Maddie's friends can enter her house. Well, then how am I supposed to meet Maddie if she doesn't come out of her goddamn house? You slow down. I think I might need to meet you. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Oh, hey, I haven't seen you back around before. Are you new here? Sorry, I don't get out to socialize much. Name's Sure. Nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, too, and have you on my friendship list. Oh. Oh, midnight came all too soon. We're only 4 people away. Only 4 people away from having met everybody. Ooh, get that money. Flower. 73 of 75 people that it counts greeted. So I only have to find 2 more for it to believe I've met everybody. Are you? We talked? Are you new? Yeah, we've talked. Let me just get back to the farmhouse, and then it will be time to close the doors on tonight's stream. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me ramble and rant about farming games and Rune Factory in particular for an hour and a half or so. I promise I have more than I could have said. You should be very grateful that I have some self-restraint. But in case you haven't guessed it, I really love farming games in general. Really love those games. And really, I'm so amazingly excited to see what we end up exploring over here. Because there is so much potential to be had in so many games that I haven't had the chance to play yet, and this is an amazing opportunity to hang out with some folks and play some video games. And figure out some new things I haven't done before, take a look at stories I haven't seen. You've all been great tonight. All 3 of you. But I love each and every one of you, no matter how small. You know, just like Horton says, a person's a person. No matter how small. It's been a very good night, and I will see you all next stream on Friday. I hope you all have a very, very good night. Sleep well, my dears.